Hopefully you found this to be one of the easier exercises. Let's just do a quick code review so you can see how we did it. Step 1. Scroll down to the data event for the Blue 50. Our mission is to replace the 4 subscribed send strings with a for loop that handles all of them in one line of code. I'm just going to comment out the existing 4 send string lines using the Control-B, block comment, uncomment keyboard shortcut. Just be careful not to comment out the send command that's setting the baud rate. We now need to create the variable we are going to use to step through the index of the array of commands. Hopefully you remembered that stackvar is the preferred local scope type to use with loops. I'll create a new stackvar integer variable and name it nindex, because this variable will represent which specific index of the array of commands we are sending. If you forgot to place this variable declaration immediately after the online event, that's okay. I'm sure the compiler reminded you by throwing an unrecognized node type error. Make sure you move this variable in order to clear the error. Now move your cursor back down below the send command statement. Remember, we don't want to send any strings through the serial port until after we set up the communication parameters of that port. And your for statement. For nindex gets 1, semicolon, nindex less than equal to 4, because there are 4 strings to send, semicolon, nindex followed by the increment operator. Now open a set of curly braces. Inside the braces we simply write one send string to dvblue50, open double quotes, subscribe commands, open square bracket, close double quotes. Here's where the real power of a for loop comes into play. Instead of placing a hard-coded value inside the brackets, we just use nindex. Now from this simple example you may not fully appreciate how much work we just saved ourselves. After all, we only have 4 commands we're sending. However, in a real-world system interfacing with a SoundWeb London, it's likely you would have dozens or even hundreds of subscribe commands to get true feedback from several different processing objects. In that case, our one line of code replaces those 100 lines, and that's where the power of for loops really pays off. Compile your code and make sure you don't have any errors or warnings. Our exercise is complete. As always, make sure you close down any and all source code files, and we can move on to our final lesson, functions.